All right, so I'm Helen and I am trucking, so to say. Yes, I usually want to say something really weird right off because it kind of um, helps me ease into it. So at one of my previous jobs when I was working in Starship as a head of their operations, I once introduced myself in live TV as I am the robotic commander. So today I am the trucking commander. So yes, as I said, I've been in this, is that it? No. I've been in this logistics or delivery sector since 2015 now. And my main thing is to figure out what is the product, who's going to use it, who's going to interact with it, how does it work, and then how we can create this win-win-win situation for everybody involved with it. And today, like in Sixfold, I actually ended up having a very interesting challenge with this because today I'm going to talk to you about how to solve a problem we don't have for a customer we don't understand. And Sixfold, and we'll talk more about how Sixfold came into being, but Sixfold is one of those startups which didn't grow up from somebody having a problem or some kind of a job, and they figured out how to make it better, and then they created a startup out of it. For example, I think some Pipedrive founders were salespeople, and now you're building a sales software. Or it also didn't come up from a situation where people were trying to do something but couldn't do it, and then they built a company around it, like TransferWise. So for us, we actually had a problem which none in the company ever had experienced before. And also we couldn't understand what the customer was doing at the time when we started. And today now I'm going to run you through how Sixfold came into being and how did we get to this issue. And also then how did we figure out who this customer is and how did we get to understanding them. So, sorry, this one. So this story has been told many times, but it's relevant here, so I'll continue with that. There was a startup called Pallets, began in 2015, where a bunch of guys decided that they want to build the next Uber for trucking. So the idea was that they would connect the trucks of their carrier companies and show in one map each truck's location and the amount of space available in that truck. And then if you need to send something from, let's say, Madrid to Estonia, then you would just log into that app and find the free truck with free space that goes to Estonia and load your stuff, and then everybody benefits. That idea really did not work out, and one of these reasons was that the truck drivers did not want to risk being late for their actual contract customers. And also they found out that truck drivers really prefer driving in empty trucks because it's much easier. So that idea was completely dead. And they wrote a blog post about it, and it went viral, and suddenly they had a lot of suitors. And they turned down a lot of ideas until one American company came along and saying, hey, we have a challenge for you. We want to build a real-time visibility platform, and we think you can help us because you know how to track trucks, and we know how to connect to big customers who actually want it. And real-time visibility, or even predictive real-time visibility as it calls, is to be able to tell where those trucks are and what is the ETA to their destination. And in 2018, this was one of the top 3 issues to resolve in the logistics industry. So all these CEOs were questioned, and that was the top 3 thing to solve. CEOs of manufacturing companies, so to say. So that's how, again, Sixfold was born. So this was the challenge that they got. And I had a chat with one of the founders 2 days ago, and I asked, so why did you decide that you will want to take this challenge on? And he said, because it's so easy, right? You just connect to these carriers and you get these trucks, and then you just give this information out for these big shippers, and that's it, you know? So this is the easiest thing ever. And then he also said that he has this kind of tendency to do that all the time. So jump into something and then kind of learning how to swim later. So providing predictive real-time visibility for big shippers. So my first thing here is that what are these big shippers and what do they want? So they thought that big shippers, I mean, that means big money. Big shipper is, let's say, Coca-Cola or IKEA, for example, is a big shipper. Pepsi, Statoil, all of these companies that deliver your soaps and your toilet paper and everything. So apparently it's a possibility to just build something and cash in. But the issue was that what they didn't think about at that time is that who is Coca-Cola? Like, I'm not Coca-Cola and you're not Coca-Cola and you're not Pipedrive. So who is actually this big shipper? And at that time, they realized they had no idea what who their users are. So that's when I came on board. So I joined Sixfold with this sole goal to figure out who is actually that user that we are going to build this product for. And for the first time in my life, I was in a situation where I was working with a bunch of guys and they were brilliant developers and they knew exactly how to get those trucks on the map. But nobody had ever been in a position to actually look at those trucks and make some sense out of them and actually build some kind of a change in their environment. So now I'm going to share with you 4 stories. And these are all very, very true stories of how I figured out who the users are and how we are using this information even today. So the first guy is the beginner. And this was our very first prospective customer. And I had this call with him on my 3rd day of work. So it was a Swedish guy. And I go into this meeting room and I call him up and we do introductions and we talk about the weather and all of these things. And then suddenly says, actually, I just finished university and I've been here for 5 months and I've been tasked to figure out what this visibility is and I don't really know. So can you help me figure it out? And I started 3 days ago and I have no idea what you want. So, and then 2 things I realized from that is, one thing, they don't know either. So we just have to build something and figure it out together. And then we went over a lot of different ways of how to do it and where to do it. So we partnered up, but at the same time, because he was really just starting and he didn't really know how to sell this kind of a product where we just tried to figure it out together. So we never really landed that customer. However, we did start landing some customers. So the next story is that about the lady who is the regional manager of a big paper company. They're making paper and packaging. And that was my first conversation with her after she had bought Sixfold. So where are my trucks? She's asking. Like, I went to this sales meeting and there was a PowerPoint presentation and there was this slide, this exact slide. And I saw all of those trucks on the map, but when I log into Sixfold, I don't see any trucks. And I'm saying, but well, really, if we look at Sixfold, then, I mean, if you look at this map, you don't really understand where those trucks are going, or you don't understand what's on them or what's the status. So it really doesn't make sense to put this kind of a map in the actual product. And she has this silent moment. She's like, yes, I understand, but I'm very disappointed. I bought something that I'm not getting, and it would have been just so cool to see all my trucks. And she sometimes reminds me of this, actually. So sometimes we have a call every month. They're still our customer, and she sometimes asks, so when am I actually getting my trucks? But what I learned from her is that it's not always about usability. Sometimes it's about just being cool. Sometimes it's about logging into a product and feeling proud that, hey, I'm using this product and I'm seeing everything that I need to see, regardless whether it's actually useful or not. And later calls with different customers have confirmed this thinking that I had back then. So one day we'll start building these really, really cool features as well. Next guy. So then we got super lucky with one company because the professional is working for a company that tried visibility with another provider, let's say, and it didn't really work out well for them. But luckily they had at least an idea of what they want. So my first call, we've exchanged some emails, but my first call with that professional was like this. So he had already used the product a little bit. And then I was really eager to find out what he thought about it and how he feels about it. And then he goes, so it's a nice product, but can you give me sorting for this delivery delays and pickup delays? And can you give me searching by order number and purchase order number and sales order number? And yes, I stopped him and I said, wait, let's take it one at a time. And can you explain why you want it? Because I need it, that's how I work. That's it. And it took us another hour to kind of really understand how he works and who's going to use them and why is it important where to actually get the data, because we didn't have the data. All that data was in their SAP system at the time. The great thing was that he knew what he needed to make visibility a success for his team. And so we really started working together with him to try and make that a success in Sixfold for his team. And of course, all the subsequent customers now also benefit from having this sorting and having all of these purchase order numbers and order numbers in Sixfold. And from him, I also learned that if we just give the customer what they need, especially if they say, because we need it, then it's really a good start for a great relationship, because they're still one of our best customers today. And now, like before I told you, we talked to, let's say, an intern, and then a regional manager, and then a project logistics manager, but none of them are really the users of the product. None of them are logging into Sixfold every day and looking at the trucks. They're just kind of managing it, and they're part of this enterprise hierarchy, and they are kind of responsible for making something work, but they're not really using it. So finally, we started getting access to users. And there's just one user story that I think was really insightful that I would like to share with you. So 6 months in, we connected this customer service user and try and figure out how to make Sixfold work for logistics customer service. And she looks at the app once, and then she looks again, and then she looks, turns to us and says, can you make this information smoother? Yes. And there was a pause there because I didn't know what smoother meant. And she didn't really know what she meant with that, in a sense that, can you do this or that? She just wanted to have it better for her. And I mean, I understand that because we have a lot of data. We have all of those numbers that I mentioned before, and we have additional numbers like transport numbers and truck plate numbers and arrival times and planned arrival times and delivery times and delay times. So naturally, she would want to make more sense out of all of this information. And what she really wanted is for us to make sense and not confuse her with everything. So altogether, this is what I learned. So what the users really wanted was to figure it out with me, because not all of them, and still not all of our customers, know exactly what they want out of this visibility. They just know that it's important. They want it because everybody else is getting it. So they have to really stay with the game. Then make me feel great. So they really want to be proud. They want to be proud that this visibility product has been implemented, and they can log into it and they can really use it and see what change it is making for their business. Give me what I need. naturally and makes sense, don't confuse me. So out of this, we kind of developed a strategy of how we work with big customers, big shippers. So not with the big names, but with those people. So this is how we work with them now. So one thing is that we work closely together. We have a customer success team, and every one of them has weekly calls with each shipper, and there's a close contact to understand what their needs are, where they are with this visibility project. Do they have new ideas of who is going to use it, how happy they are with us. We build what they need, and we have gone through the route of customizing something, so building like a standard customization solution where we can get data from their systems so they can display it in Sixfold and kind of bring it home for them, so to say. And then we become our customer success. So all of them want to get this predictive real-time visibility, which could be a little bit exotic, but we are the partner that helps it figure out and helps to make sure that they can get the benefits they're actually looking for. And with this mindset of working together, we are now working together with some of like those customers and some other customers. And at the moment, we're seeing quite a great growth of customers who are trusting that we can really bring it home for them and build this visibility product. And what we offer to them, of course, is visibility. So where is the truck? Predictability and when it will arrive, and then monitoring what is going on, you know, weather or delays, anything that can happen on the road. But the main message I still wanted to make today is that these are just companies, not people. And these are just kind of concepts, but the people actually come and make it a reality and make it a success are these people. So there is the project manager who just really wants to have this in his CV that he delivered the best predictive visibility solution for his company. There are these logistics planners who want to have less calls with their carriers and just be able to log in and see what's going on, so they can be more efficient and give their customers a better service. And the warehouse team could actually reduce their loading times by 10 minutes by just knowing when the truck is going to get there and preparing in advance. And it was interesting for me to learn that most of the delays in trucking are due to delays in warehouse loading. So that's a huge benefit. And then there is this man with trucks. So this particular guy, he has 224 trucks, and he hired developers to make sure that he gets the best connection with Sixfold so he can provide the service for his customers and the end customers. And all that these guys want or need is what each and every one of us needs. So what we want is to really look good for ourselves and our managers and our co-workers and our customers, and to feel good when we're doing our job and when we're logging in and actually using something. And yes, just to work smoother, whatever it means for each and every one of us. So that's what I learned with Sixfold, and that's how we do it. Thank you.
Okay, it's working now. We have this one. If you have questions, just throw it around. You can catch it. But I would actually wanted to ask you something. You mentioned like one of the main issues is probably like warehouse things related to that kind of part. But is there also anything specific, like maybe related to the technology that you use to track these tracks or something? Like, what are the main challenges in your product? Are they product related or technology related?
So the main challenge is still to get all of these trucks. So the challenge is in a little bit the industry, because not every truck has a telematics system yet, and not every carrier. There are a lot of truck carriers with just one or two trucks, and they have not invested in these kinds of expensive systems. So the main challenge is to provide to be able to provide most the visibility across most of their transports. But the shippers actually invest in heavily in that as well to make sure it becomes a reality.
Got it. Thank you. And thanks for the presentation as well. Are there any other questions? Anyone? We have one.
Hello. You mentioned you managed to get connections to the ERP systems of your clients, right? So how did you approach that? Did you approach it from the ERP system kind of developers or for the clients, and they, in their terms, took it to their respective software suppliers?
So we work together with a transport exchange platform where carriers and shippers connect their different delivery needs. So pretty much shippers are posting their loads there and carriers are bidding on them or just picking them up there. And there we get this transport information and all, and this exchange system is connecting to all the ERP systems. So there is like a middleman there for us.
Lucky you.
Came with this American company that approached us at the beginning. That's why the founder said, so easy.
Hello. My question is about Mercedes and Tesla had already established their fully driverless and electronic trucks, and Mercedes even aims for 2025 to be driverless for Internet of Things, etc. Is it a good news for you, because for the invest in not so expensive systems is not already will not be so in priority anymore, because the systems of trucks had already been electronical, but electronical had been causes so much bugs too. So is it a good news for you, or?
Well, I've tried this driverless technology myself with those robots, and with trucks, I believe it when I see it. I think it will take quite a bit of time still for it to be a commercial thing to be used, especially in Europe. So in a sense, yes, but for Sixfold ourselves, it doesn't touch us at the moment too much.
One final question, if that's okay. Sure. You mentioned that you were doing a lot of face-to-face customer interactions and taking the features that they said they needed and then just building what they needed, right? So at which point do you sort of risk building something for just one person and not a solution for an entire industry, and then just sort of cornering yourself in? Did you take that into consideration, or was that ever an issue for you at all?
From day one, it was an issue. It was a question we had to spend a lot of time evaluating if something is an industry related thing or is it just something that this company wants. So as I said, one thing that we did eventually do because of the customizations that they asked was that we built this standard customization way thing that they can connect with. And it became a hugely successful feature because every new customer that came in wanted something to be customized. And then we said, hey, if you want it, you have to do it like this. But for everything else, we always check that we're not building ourselves into a corner. Very important thing.
Thanks again.
Thank you.